When I first landed in the US, things were difficult for me. I had not really realized it in the whole process of applying to the universities and getting the admissions, and I was so excited to go to the university that I liked. Now, all of this had kind of overshadowed that anxiousness that comes around once you actually step into a new country, all alone, without your parents, without your friends, and of course, things are difficult at that point of time. So, in this video, I'm going to tell you 5 such things that you should be prepared for if you are going to study abroad for the first time in your life. And most people only do this once in their lives, so I think this video should help a lot of people. So, without further ado, let's start with the pointers. The first one over here is be prepared to be stereotyped. See, you will have stereotypes about different groups of people, different types of people, different kinds of people, because you're going to be seeing them for the first time in your life. For most part, you would have seen them on TV, right? And now you're going to be seeing them for the first time in your life. So of course, those stereotypes, they start to come out, right? And people will have stereotypes about you as well. Now, this part really starts to affect some people, because some stereotypes are bad and some are silly, right? The bad ones start affecting you. Now, my advice is that don't let these get to you. Do your best to overcome those stereotypical, things that people have in their mind, but at the end of the day, you don't have to really do anything about it, right? You just have to make sure that those things don't get in your head, because as long as you want to be safe and sound, you want to be working in an environment that does not hinder you from being the best version of yourself. Well, you have to learn to kind of ignore these things a little bit. Okay, try to overcome this. If the person who has these stereotypes about you does not want to overcome these things, then you can't really do anything about it. And of course, cultural shocks are very real. I had those on the first day when I stepped down and I met the cab driver. And even though she was of color, it seems like she had some sort of a vendetta against Asians. These things will happen to you, and you have to be prepared for them. But at the end of the day, it really is about staying calm and trying to do the best you can. But if you cannot, just let that person go, right? The next thing is be wary of how you spend your time. Again, your time is the most precious asset you have when you are going to study overseas. And the reason I say that is because the way you spend your time decides how your future is going to unfold in that different country, right? Again, you're going to an all new country, you have a lot to learn over there. So, a lot of people think that, hey, look, it's going to be all great and, we're going to see all new types of people. How interesting is it going to be? Well, it's going to be great. Yeah, you're going to make a lot of friends and, hey, dating may be all right as well. But it cannot certainly be the best use of your time, okay? Now, the reason I say this is you may lose track of your goals, and secondly, you don't really know. Even if you are a lot serious from the inside, the other person, they may not really be all that serious. They may not even be ready to be in a position where they're all that serious with you, right? And okay, dating, it's all good. I'm just giving you an example. There's a lot of other things, being involved with friends as well. See, you can do a lot of those things, but at the end of the day, if you are losing track of your goals, that's the worst thing you're doing to yourself. You're basically depending on the other person to help you survive in that country, and that's not something you want to do. Trust me, you want to be independent, you want to be able to do things on your own, and regardless, you want to be able to get your visas your own ways, if you know what I'm saying. Okay, so don't forget those things. And that brings me to the third point, which is do not forget your goals. It's a very, very important thing. We all have seen all of those amazing, amazing movies. And of course, a college life is something we dream about. But if you're going for your bachelor's, even your master's, especially master's people, don't think that it's going to be just like your bachelor's. You don't get to, hang out with people who are basically, drinking all day and, playing around all day. While this is something that you may have imagined that the US or Canada or the Western culture in general looks like, you really have to be prepared that okay, even though all of these things will exist and all of those fraternities will exist, all of the sororities will exist, I, as a master's student, cannot get carried away by all of these things. Parties will happen, all these things will happen. But if you're losing track of your goals because of these things, and you're doing these on a daily or even a weekly basis, these things start to affect you. Because these, in a new country, they look so good, they seem so good in the beginning. You just don't want to let go of these. You just don't want to let go of this opportunity. It's a once in a lifetime opportunity, right? So I would say try to keep a balance. Don't completely get into studies as well, but at the same time don't completely get into playing around, fooling around, all that as well. You have to keep a balance, and at the same time you have to ensure this balance will be different for someone like you and someone like me. Okay, this balance is very different for someone who has been in the industry working for 5 years and then coming to the US, right? And this balance is very different for someone who's just out of college right now and then he has gone to the US. So all of these things change a lot about how much time you have to put into your studies, how much time you have to put into your assignments, etc., etc. All of these things will count, and you have to understand everyone is going to be different. You're not all the same when you're going for your master's or your PhD, especially. Apart from that, you will want to travel. And there's nothing wrong with traveling. You can definitely travel. You can see a lot of places. It's going to be great. Personally, I loved it as well. But again, maintain that balance, okay? And of course, you will make new friends. Again, maintain that balance. Definitely get along with them, but at the same time, don't lose focus of your goals. You have to understand everyone's different. If someone else is able to finish off with their studies in just 1 hour's time in 1 week, that's completely okay for them. But if you need 12 hours every week, then you need those 12 hours, and you have to make sure that you don't compromise on all of those things. Again, you have a lot of things otherwise also to do, right? Your chores, your all of new responsibilities, all of those things also take up a lot of time. So definitely time is something that is going to be short, and you have to ensure that you're not losing sight of your goals. You may have to make compromises, and I assure you, you will have to do that as well in a lot of cases. And if you're not strong enough to do that, well, things are going to take a turn for the south, and which we of course do not want for you. Point number 4 is networking. Networking is actually the key. It's the biggest advantage that you can have. If you are an optimistic person, and in general, when you go ahead and you see 2 or 3 people on the street and you're not able to talk to them, hey, look, you may be an introvert, but this is really the time to get a little bit extroverted, okay? Right? I'm not saying be a total extrovert as well, but at the same time, try a little bit to be able to interact with anyone that you want. Okay, it's an important thing. It's very important when you're going to a new country, and if you don't really do that, you lose out on connections that you would have made, which can help you in the long run in ways that you cannot understand right now. So go ahead, talk to people, help people. When people ask for things on the groups that okay, look, I'm looking for this lamp or something. If you have a spare lamp, give them a spare lamp. It's just an example. Do all of these things, create those connections, because these small things that you do for people, right? These small favors, they can really mean that that person would like to do something for you later on in the future as well. And of course, try to have that sort of relationship at least with a few people, right? And definitely, if you're helping people, other people will also help you. So network and do as much as you can. Meet all of the people who are working in your field. Try to collaborate with them, and not even just people in your field, right? People from different fields also, they can come together and they can build something amazing. Try to do that. You can do a lot more. You can build startups, you can pitch ideas, you can collaborate on research work, research papers, right? You can go for competitive coding. There's a lot of these things depending on who you are, what you do, what your field is. All of these things will come into the picture, and you want to make sure that you're using the maximum amount of time that you have on these things, and a limited amount of time on partying and friends and going around and traveling, etc., etc. Because trust me, once you get settled down, you will have ample time to do that, I assure you. And finally, as I said, your network will definitely help you get a lot of opportunities if you really focus on building that network. Again, networking, studying, and making sure that you are doing well in class also, and in outside of class also. That's really what is required to ace this. It's not that hard. It just requires a lot of consistency and dedication, and that's something that, trust me, not a lot of people have, and you can do that all by yourself. All you gotta do is control this mind of yours. And finally, point number 5, and this is again one of my most important advices to you guys. I've first 4 points I've been a little bit more stricter. I've told you that okay, don't do this, don't do that, stick to this. But at the same time, remember, this is only once that you're getting this opportunity in your life. Most people, they won't be doing this again, right? And even if you may have plans to do this again, PhD maybe or something like that, it doesn't always happen, okay? My advice is definitely focus on your education, but at the same time, make sure to celebrate when you can. Don't forget to enjoy while you're working hard and doing all of that. You're in a new country, you're in a new place. There's a lot that you can do and definitely enjoy as well, but remember to keep that balance. Celebrate your achievements, party hard, and again, whenever you do that, just party hard. Don't do it every day, right? When you do it, make sure you party hard. And then click a lot of photographs, because again, these are memories that you probably won't be forgetting for years and years, and you won't want to forget these as well. These are some of the best days of your life, trust me, right? So these are the things that I wanted to mention. I wanted to tell you that, okay, look, these things are something that you need to be prepared for as well, and you need to have this mindset, because a lot of it is really about building that mindset that, okay, these are the things I have to do, these are the things that I don't have to do. I really have to work according to these norms, according to these rules, and apart from that, everything is fine as long as you can control your brain. If your brain starts controlling you, well, that's not a really good sign, right? So, and especially, your feelings should not start controlling you. Your brain as well, that might do it, but your feelings should definitely not be the one in control, right? If you feel like doing something, that's not always the right thing to do. You have to know the right thing to do. All right, so I hope that this video helps you. That's everything that I wanted to give you. These are my top 5 pointers that you should know in your first year studying overseas, when you're doing it for the first time, and things are going to be amazing. If you've just landed, congratulations, you are in for a journey of a lifetime, and I assure you, nothing that you do will ever make you forget it. Okay, so thank you so much for sticking around over here. Again, make sure to subscribe to this channel if you like the advice that I gave you in this video. We also have an Instagram page where a lot of study abroad and work abroad advice is available. Make sure to follow me over there, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye and take care for now.